this is like not proper journalism. It's like even, in the name of yellow journalism, at least you need to. And then I realized why so many actors keep on screaming, we were misquoted in this article, we were misquoted in that. What the media does is, it uses certain loopholes, like how our judiciary also has loopholes and criminals get away. What the media cleverly does here is, it uses this freedom of subbing or editing or reporting that it is given, and uses and misuses it to suit its own needs. Cineblitz or Stardust being the gossip magazines at that time, they needed to shock and surprise and sensationalize things. And that is the reason that they sold those number of copies, because they were gossip magazines. They were magazines which people used to read with a lot of, fun. And they needed to shock people. So they would resort to misusing the term subbing. Subbing legally gives the right to a sub-editor or a journalist to edit and copy a copy, to present a copy in a more presentable way. And they would misuse it in this way and spice up the article. It was a shock to me at that time. This was 95 I'm talking about. Gossip journalism and tabloid journalism was yet to come in. Midday was yet to become this big that it has become now. And Mumbai Mirror was not launched. And I got quite a shock that, this kind of journalism prevails. But I always wanted to be a film journalist, and I stuck around in Cineblitz for some time. And made sure that my interviews were done in a spicier manner, so that they required less and less sub-editing. They required less of that manipulation on the table, rather than get bold quotes out of the actor some way or the other, manipulate that. Later on, this was 95, then around 96, 97, I freelanced for Indian Express, Stardust, Showtime, Screen, Movie Magazine, Asian Age, a lot of publications. And around 97, I quit journalism and started my own PR agency. I handle PR for actors, actresses, singers, TV serials. My first big client was Shekhar Suman. At that time, he used to be having a show called Movers and Shakers. And that was the #1 TV show at that time. And Shekhar wanted to be projected as the first superstar on Indian television. And I subtly put that term in my press releases. For the first few weeks, my press releases, that term got unnoticed or edited out by the media. Third or fourth week, some paper somewhere in one corner carried that term, first superstar of Indian television. I kept on hammering it in my press releases. Within 6 months, everybody was calling him the first superstar of Indian television. I realized that what I had learned as a journalist, how to read, how to write and plug certain prefixes and certain little things, I could actually use other media and other journalists to influence them and make them do things which I used to do as a journalist, write as a journalist. During that time, I got the opportunity to do a very big event on this decommissioned ship, INS Vikrant, which is a historical ship for India because it was helpful in winning the war around 1971. And there was this event on the top deck of the ship. And I was not very confident that I could, after having done journalism for quite a number of years, I was not very confident I could do a big PR event. But I took it on, and because the event was very big and quite big stars had, come and perform there at the event. It was a naval event. It was called Fling 97. It was a naval awards event. And next day, when a couple of journalists came, covered the event, next day when the papers came out, I saw that event covered on the front pages of almost all the papers, and I realized that I can do good PR, because if I can do this, I can grow from here. And then I started doing PR for movies after that, because I thought if I can do events, I could do movies. My first movie that I did PR for was Bombay Boys. I don't know, have you all heard about Bombay Boys? Yeah. It was Kaizad Gustad's first film, and it was a success in metros. Though not a complete national hit, but a hit in Bombay, Delhi, Calcutta, all the metros. And then I got the account of Tips Industries. I did PR for this film called Kya Kehna, which emerged Preeti Zinta's first big hit. And then came Had Kar Diya Aapne, later Musafir. Style was another landmark film because it had newcomers, and I had to do a lot of pushing and branding newcomers. Then Dawn was one of the biggest projects I handled because of Shah Rukh's presence there and Farhan directing it. And then, of course, it was one of the most challenging projects that I handled recently. Was my last film that I did PR for was Rock On. With Rock On, the difficult part of doing PR for Rock On was that I had to not brand it as, it was more than branding it, it was about not branding it as a typical commercial movie because of the subject being rock music. And as you all know, we have a niche audience who likes rock. So the regular film goer doesn't really bother about rock. And to brand it to that niche audience, plus catch the regular film goer in other ways, was quite a challenging task. We did it with various new age, targeting various new age media like Facebook and YouTube, and we started the entire exercise in a very youth-friendly manner, and then moved on to the promos, and then moved on to the theatrical promos, created a buzz about the music,